Hello and welcome to the Sky Sports Golf Podcast presented by Callaway and today presented from Callaway. Yes, I'm at Callaway Europe HQ just south of London. Those of you watching the vodcast version can see that I'm in the Performance Centre right now. This place is vast and mightily impressive. And speaking of impressive, what a show we have for you today. We just keep on upping the ante on the Sky Sports Golf Podcast. This weekend, it is the Arnold Palmer Invitational at iconic Bay Hill. And my first guest on the pod today is a man who's won that not once, but twice. Indeed, the last man to successfully defend his title at the API. And this year is the 10th anniversary of that. Good morning, for it is an extremely early morning where he is, to Matt Every. How are you doing, dude?
Jamie, thanks for having me on. Yeah, 10 years of noise and confusion, that's for sure.
Listen, we're going to get into all that because two memorable wins there for you, which I'm sure you're very fond of remembering. We're going to get into all that. Matt is also, of course, going to look back at a dramatic finish, an eventful week at the Cognizant in the Palm Beaches, a breakthrough win for Joe Highsmith, Jake Knapp's 59, the world's #1 amateur Luke Clanton securing his PGA Tour card, and at Billy Horschel prodding alligators with his gap wedge. In the second half of the show, Tommy Fleetwood will be joining me en route to his TGL match this evening to discuss his exceptionally consistent season so far, to look ahead to the next few weeks, Bay Hill, the Players, the Masters. Yes, folks, the Masters is just a month away. The Open back at Portrush, where he was a runner-up 6 years ago. And it wouldn't be the Sky Sports Golf Podcast if we didn't chat about the Ryder Cup too. So we will be chatting about that with Tommy. All that plus an incredibly heartwarming win in South Africa, a modern-day legend of the game with yet another W, this time in Singapore, and perhaps the most remarkable story you'll hear this year involving a former biker gang member and ex-prisoner qualifying for the Open. We'll get to all that later, but first of all, we will start at the Palm Beaches. Joe Highsmith, winning his first PGA Tour title, made a 5-foot putt in the setting sun on Friday evening to make the cut in the number, and Matt then went 64-64 at the weekend. That is how to get it done, isn't it?
Yeah, Jamie, these guys, they just full on blitzed that course down there in Palm Beach this week. You know, you heard Billy earlier in the week talk about there wasn't a lot of rough, and then they got a ton of rain. The median level of your regular PGA Tour player right now has been raised so high. We have guys like Joe Highsmith coming out of out of nowhere to win, triple digit odds to win too, by the way. It's 2 weeks in a row we've had that out here.
Yeah, and I think his mom had to cancel her flight yesterday because just, to make the cut on the number, 8 shots back as he tees off on Saturday morning. And then it was a clinic yesterday. It was an exhibition.
It was, yeah, kind of just he's the only one that kept the gas pedal down the whole day. Some guys got off to hot starts, but then faded. God, Jamie, he still looks like a kid to me. I mean, I know he is a kid, but he looks so young in the face. That was cool to watch him and his mom. I saw some of the clips of them afterwards, and that first win is so cool. You never know if it's going to come, and to have your family there is got to be cool stuff for Joe.
Yeah, the floppy sun hat is the only thing I'm unsure on. I'm not sure that's a look that I certainly couldn't pull that off.
I couldn't swing in that. My club would hit it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an extraordinary look. It's an extraordinary look. It's like Joel Damon, but one step further. Jake Knapp kind of looked like it was his tournament to win for such a long time. His tournament to lose, I should say. But it all fell apart from the 11th yesterday. A triple bogey. Matt, his ball submerged in the water. We couldn't even see it, to be honest. And he took the shot on. What are you thinking watching that? Would you have taken that on?
Boy, in that spot, Jamie, probably not. The only thing is if he takes the drop, it basically plays like out of bounds, right? Because he has to hit again from the fairway because it didn't cross. But rule of thumb, usually if there's no part of the ball out of the water, maybe not. The ball did come out though. It's just we needed 2 or 3 more feet, but just a massive miss there, especially after a great tee shot. I mean, he pressed that thing all the way down there. It was really a scoring club he had into that hole, and look, they're never easy to come by. Jamie wins, and there's just no room for error out here right now.
No, exactly. And you could see his shoulders slumped after that, and he was never going to be able to recover from that triple bogey. Began the week, of course, by shooting 59.
Yeah,
we've seen a few 59s in recent years. They've almost become fairly, standard on the PGA Tour. But did you ever think one was possible at PGA National?
Well, it feels like we've seen almost all of them in recent years, to be honest.
Yeah,
Well, in like the last 15 years. No, no way. Are you kidding me? Not even on the nicest day. There's just too much going on out there. I don't know what planet Jake was on, but calm conditions there. 7 or 8 under is really getting after it. I mean, really getting after it. And uh to be honest, I didn't watch any on Thursday, but when I heard he shot 59, I even if they were playing lift clean a place, it still would have been an
yeah.
insane round. Yeah, killer stuff from Jake.
Incredible. At a putt for 58 as well on the
Mm,
18th, so just
mhm.
extraordinary stuff. On Thursday, we also saw Billy Horschel shooing an alligator away from spectators back into the water with his
Yeah,
60-degree wedge. And people had a lot of fun with this because for listeners who aren't aware, and we're not as aware of it on this side of the pond, Billy went to the University of Florida, whose
yeah,
athletes and alumni are known as Gators. And
mhm.
Matt, you are a Gator as well.
Yeah, I went to school with Billy for 1 year. That's all I could take. Um, I'm just kidding. That's typical Billy right there. He knew the cameras were on him for sure and went for the tail. And if you've grown up in Florida and messed with gators at all, if you get the tail, they're not looking to attack you. They're running the other way.
Yeah.
Um, that was just a layup for Billy to get some good TV time right there.
That's I love that you say that. I mean, I love Billy to bits, but, he
Oh, me
hasn't
too.
changed over the years, I take it. I
No,
mean, I know
he's
that
perfect for
he
TGL.
really
Perfect.
he wound up Rory McIlroy something shocking at that Walker Cup as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember that. They're good now though, right?
Oh, yeah, they're very
Oh,
tight
yeah.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, he's always been like that, Billy, has he? Yeah.
Yo, dude, that guy talks in his sleep. Um, when he was at Florida, I mean, he was just a massive ball of energy. It was almost like, we needed it because we were an old team at the time. And then he was a freshman. I think we had like 4 seniors and then freshmen, but this guy was just like a chihuahua all day long, just, you know, ripping at your ankles and it was good in small doses.
Yeah, I bet in small
Yeah.
doses. The other thing we had earlier in the week as well, Luke Clanton claiming his PGA Tour card. The world number one amateur. He's actually the world number 92 full stop, which is just to get your head around that. An amateur being the 92nd best player on the planet is ridiculous, Matt.
Jamie might be better than that 92nd.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like every tour event he's gotten into, he's been part of, like a legit part of. I wasn't near as good as Luke Clanton coming out of school, but I was good enough to get some sponsor invites. And I can tell you, there is no freaking way I ever thought I was going to contend in a tour event. And I was full of myself. And that's an honest answer. It is. These guys, all of them now are coming out just bulletproof, zero scar tissue. They're seeing their buddies do it. And, like Luke Clanton with 3 top 10s during his summer off from school on the PGA Tour last year. I mean,
yeah.
that's ridiculous. Not a shock to me to see his. It's now not a shock to me to see him get his card. This guy's he's going to be a household name here if he's not already.
Because we don't follow college golf over here as closely as you guys follow it in the States. So I'm guessing you've been aware of Luke Clanton for some time. As you sort of alluded to, runner-up finishes at the John Deere, RSM Classic. He was fifth at Wyndham as well. These guys are now coming straight out of college, as you said, Matt, with just feeling, yeah, why can't I win? Why can't I go and contend? Very confident, just ready to go out there and win.
Yeah, and look, the PGA Tour that the tour put into play a couple years ago. That first of all, long overdue. Like,
Yeah,
I think we're one of the only major sports to not have a direct pipeline out of college to the pro level. But anyways, these guys have been killing it off of that PGA Tour. You Ludwig, Thorbjornsen, you got Clanton now. It's it's a great it's a great kind of ladder for these guys to get comfortable on the tour, but it feels like they already are comfortable. There's
yeah.
zero issues coming out. Um, I actually would like to see them give more spots to the college kids. They're stepping up to the plate and delivering. The proof's in the pudding. We've seen it in the last 3 years.
And look, you mentioned Ludwig. We all know Ludwig's story in terms of turning pro in June a couple of years ago, and within 3 months, he's on the Ryder Cup team. Brentley Roman from Golf Channel tweeted at the weekend that he thinks Luke Clanton will be on this year's Ryder Cup team. Could you see that happening? The strength and depth is so strong on the US side.
I mean, is that hot of a take? I mean,
Yeah, perhaps not.
he's a nice player. I think he's got a great captain. If he's gonna need a pick, he's got a good captain for it. I really doubt Keegan's gonna rip right down the list, what do we get? 6 picks? 7 through 12. Like I don't see that happening. Jamie, speaking of the Ryder Cup, since I only have you for this long, I wanted to pitch you my idea for it real quick.
Come on then. Let's have
Okay.
it.
So this is before they named Keegan captain, and I knew they were going to kind of have to shake something up on our side.
Yeah.
And we kind of have this pool of like 4 or 5 names. It feels like the same guy every time.
Yeah.
Right.
Just going around in circles. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I thought it would be, we have plenty of people in important positions in the world of golf that are not great golfers. Right. I thought it would be killer to have Joe LaCava and Billy Foster be the captains after the dust up last year. And then you have it in Bethpage. LaCava is a New York guy. It would have been all time. Now I think they killed it with Keegan. So it's totally fine. That never happened. But I don't know. I think that would have been pretty cool.
Would be, I think, it's a pretty good way to get under European skin. You're right. I think Joey LaCava is still a name that isn't mentioned within that European team room after in Rome. I mean, before Liv and everything happened, this was gonna be Phil Mickelson against Ian Poulter in terms of the captains this Ryder Cup, which with a New York crowd, an oiled up New York crowd, that would have been tasty.
It's gonna be great regardless. I mean, Keegan will get that place fired up.
And listen, you mentioned Keegan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Keegan could be on this Ryder Cup team?
Absolutely.
Can you see a world in which that happens?
Absolutely. He's such a competitor. I thought that was one of the biggest gaffes and Ryder Cup selection history. If a guy like Keegan is anywhere near form, you have to take him.
It kind of feels, we're 14 years on from him winning a major championship, but it kind of feels now he's playing the golf of his life. Like he is one of the 12 best American golfers at the moment.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I haven't watched any of the Netflix episodes in any of the seasons, but I did see like a 10-minute clip of when they were, I think the boys were over playing, it was maybe the Open Championship last year. And like when Justin and Ricky and them were talking, and then Keegan's doing his own thing. That was a tough watch, man. It really was. I think Keegan won a ton of fans. I've always been a massive Keegan fan. He's awesome off the course, and he's the ultimate competitor on the course. And I didn't like the way that, maybe it was editing, but I didn't like the way that thing.
I could not agree with you more. I thought the way that played out, I think he won a lot of admirers, Keegan Bradley, for the dignity, the manner in which he carried himself throughout that whole thing. Right, we're going to move on, Matt. We're going to look ahead to this week now, because it is a huge event, an iconic event, one you've won twice, and it is the 10th anniversary of your successful defense there. The Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. Does it feel like a decade ago?
Yeah, it does. There's been a lot of living in the last 10 years. Yeah, it does. Look, this place is the coolest ever for me, Jamie. I grew up like an hour away from here. My dad used to take me here, and it was always a dream of mine to get onto the PGA Tour, to be a winner, and to basically have it happen. This isn't my backyard, but like, an hour away, it's the closest tour event we had. And to be at Arnie's place, I'd had of maybe 5 or 6 looks in the 2 years previous to my first win here. And, you just never know if it's going to come when you don't knock them down, when you get the chance. And I can't tell you how neat it is when I like walk into the pro shop here and it says, Tiger Woods, Matt Every. Like that's cool as for me. It really is. It's something that I cherish, and I love this place. It's the best.
Yeah, it must be incredible. I'll tell you what else must be incredible is to receive the trophy from the king. You did it in 2014, you did it in 2015, and then within 18 months, he sadly passed away, Arnold Palmer, but to receive the trophy from him, that must be incredible.
All time. That handshake is all time. I knew Mr. Palmer quite a bit before because I was buddies with Sam Saunders, so I'd play with Sam a little bit over here. the first couple year, I believe it was the first year I ever played in this tournament. I got paired with Sam because I was getting like the rookie times, and I think Sam got a sponsor invite, and Arnie came out and watched us in his golf cart, and there's no rules where he can drive, and we were coming up 8, and on the right side of the 8th green, there's just this greenside bunker, and we're in the fairway, and the crowd is all of a sudden there's like this noise up by the green, and we look up, and Arnie's driven through the bunker like up to the top right to get a view of us. It was hilarious.
Oh, what a man. Listen, incredible.
Mhm.
Can you still 11 and 10 years on, can you still remember pretty much every shot from the final round both years?
Oh yeah. Yeah, probably. If I like really grinded on it, I
It's
could.
2014, you came from quite a way back in the final days, isn't that right?
Maybe. I know I played really good the last round both times.
Yeah.
I know the first week or the first year I had pretty good form coming into it. I remember a buddy texting me at the start of the week saying, "Hey, if you're in contention, I'm gonna come watch you this weekend." And I wrote back like, "Dude, I'm gonna be in contention. Like I'm playing good golf right now."
Yeah.
And I think I had like 3 looks on the West Coast. Anyways, got it done there. Fifth, let me tell you a quick story on 2014, what got me over the hump. Okay, so last day, hold on, rewind. Start of the week, this guy Mac Horton, he works for he's the stat guy. He works for like Horschel and you know him. He's a British guy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I do, yeah.
Yeah. Great dude. So he comes to me at the start of the week in the locker room, and I would watch the EPL because I had a very young kid at the time, and we would chat a little bit about that. And I'm a massive Oasis fan too, so I pull for Man City. So we would just have like that in common. That was it. And then he was working with Billy, so like I'd play practice rounds with Billy, and so that was my relationship with him. Well, he sees me Tuesday in the locker room, and he goes, "Hey, you've been playing some nice golf this year." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." And he goes, "Let me tell you something." He goes, "Every time you get in contention, if I was a better, I'd bet against you." And I was like, "What?" I was like, I was like, "Why are you telling me this right now?" And he goes, "If you're in contention on Sunday, come find me in the locker room and I'll have something for you." So I get in contention on Sunday. I get in there like 11 o'clock. I'm teeing off around 2, right? And he has these sheets of paper for me, and it's a printout of the scoring average on 1, 2, and 3. And he goes, "Look, you've almost got to the winning score 4 times this year." He goes, "You're far too aggressive on Sundays. These are the scoring averages for the first 3 holes," and it'd been like 20 groups had gone through. All right. And it was like 4.3, 3.4, 4.3. He goes, "If you par the first 3 holes, you're gaining a shot on the
Yeah.
field." He goes, that needs to be the way your mind works today. And it was Jamie, it was like it was so little, but it went so far for me. Like, do you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
incredible. Just to give you that
Yeah.
clarity of thought before you tee off.
Yeah.
Fast forward a year then, 2015, when you feel, "Oh my gosh, I could actually successfully defend this title." Very few people do that. What are
Yeah.
you thinking when it transpires on the back nine on Sunday in 2015 that, "Oh my god, I'm actually gonna successfully defend the Arnold Palmer?"
Well, I never really felt that like the whole day. I had 0 form coming into 2015. I was playing terrible, to be honest. 2014, I missed a little one that would have for sure wrapped it up for me, and I had to sweat it out. Like I think Adam had to miss a putt, or Keegan, one or the other. 2015, I was striping it that week. Even though I had 0 form coming into the week, I found something, and I just was not missing. Nice drive off 18, and then I just flagged this. I mean, the feeling I had inside of me when my ball was like midair tracking the flag on 18, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so good." And it was a little long. It was like 15, 17 feet behind the pin. But to make like a putt to win,
Yeah,
that's the coolest thing ever, because I did it totally differently than the year before.
yeah,
Just the stuff that runs through your body in that like 10 to 20 second moment. I mean, it's a true out of body experience.
Well, none of us listening to this podcast will ever get to experience that, so it must be absolutely incredible. Look, in 2015, you were 19 under when you won it to beat Henrik Stenson by just a shot. In recent years, we've seen 5 under par, 4 under par win around Bay Hill. It feels like it's become one of the harder stops on tour.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think some of it, Jamie, is weather dependent. Like,
Yeah,
look, it's a weird time of year here in Florida, especially where Orlando is. You can get some chilly mornings, and then if you get the wind blowing out of the north, this place is brutal. I mean, 1, 2, and 3 are just dead in off the left, chilly wind. They're already hard holes, and then you also have a tough finish with that wind, 17, 18 dead into the wind. I have seen them. It does feel like they've grown out the rough more in
mm,
maybe the last 5 or 6 years. Uh, Ultimately, I think this place more than anything though is a second shot golf course. The fairway, they do give you some room in the fairways. I mean, they're wider. It's not all drivers here off the tee. There's some forced layups, but I think when the greens start to bake out a little bit, and like the year Hatton won, I mean, that was just insane how
yeah.
nasty it was. But you have to be a quality striker of the irons. I mean, they have to be coming in to be to be honest, I think they have to be coming in from left to right and high. And that's the only shot that holds these greens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the winners in recent years, Scotty Scheffler twice, of course, Rory McIlroy, Francesco Molinari. It does seem like flushers seem to do really well there.
Even you
And
do throw like a random in there, Jamie, like Martin Laird. I mean,
yeah,
like that guy is known for hitting it to the moon and left to right peelers. And Scotty hits those nice high fades too. Tiger liked to hit those too, I think.
yeah, he did. Tiger could hit pretty much hit anything, I think. And I mean this with the greatest respect to the California swing, to Torrey and Riv and Pebble Beach. But for me, this feels like the proper start to the season. Bay Hill, players next week, Masters just a month away. It feels like this is when things really start heating up.
I couldn't agree more. When I was a kid growing up, I always thought that it felt like the tour started at Doral, like
Right.
when we got to Florida. I'm right there with you though, Jamie. Especially with Honda, kind of. It feels like they've been a victim of where they're at on the schedule, but it does feel like this is like, okay, PGA Tour golf. We're ready. The golf world is ready to roll. Football is done. All eyes are on us.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. I was there last year to witness that clinic from Scotty Scheffler on the Sunday, and I loved every second of it. It does feel like a huge event. And before we let you go, Matt, you alluded to it a little bit earlier on. I have to ask: have you got any Oasis tickets yet?
Yes, but I got just one of the craziest stories ever about this. So the tickets are going on sale at it was like 8 o'clock y'all's time, right?
Yeah,
So it's I think it was 3 a.m.
yeah,
East Coast. So I'm having a night by myself, and I'm just gonna stay up and get in the queue and see where shakes out. All right. Like I'm gonna try and go to the first show. I believe it was in Cardiff is the first show they're doing.
right.
Um so I'm like, sick, I'm gonna get it. So 3 o'clock rolls around, boom, the queue opens up, and I have buddies a couple buddies in the States and around different parts of the world that are also trying for themselves. And I get in the queue, and my number is 441 and I got buddies sending me screenshots. They're like 500,000 something.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, I'm like, this is sick. So I get in there and I get 4 tickets for Cardiff. I go to pay, I get my pay. Since it's Ticketmaster UK, I can only pay through my PayPal. Don't know my PayPal password. All right.
no,
So the
no.
recovery email for my PayPal password was like my financial advisor's secretary's email. So I'm just sitting there watching the clock tick, like I'm gonna get kicked out, and that's what happened. I got booted out at like 3:40, and
No.
it's the worst ever. I ended up getting tickets for the Rose Bowl in LA here, but I might try and move some stuff around.
Oh, listen, yeah, you need
You know,
to you need
I've seen both of them, Liam and Noel, a ton over here individually, like
right.
when they come over here. But
Well, here's the
uh,
question to the massive Oasis fan. I mean, d do you think they'll last the entire tour,
oh
Liam and
yeah, I
Noel,
do.
without falling
I
out?
do. They got to be old enough now to
Do you think?
last. Yeah. I do. And Noel's
Fingers
single now too, so he doesn't have to answer to anybody.
fingers crossed. I can see there
Mhm.
being a big fallout at some point in the tour. We're gonna let you go, Matt. You're off to a pro-am at Bay Hill this morning. How's it looking
Yeah,
out the window? Have you looked out the curtains yet?
a little chilly. I did. There's some
Yeah.
rough out there. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing all about it because it is also Seminole Pro-Am today, maybe the most stellar field in golf. Tiger Woods, Roy McIlroy, Ernie Els, both Ryder Cup captains, Keegan Bradley, Alan Luke Donald, and Tom Brady, all in the field at Seminole. But you didn't get the invite to that one.
Not this year. Missed it.
Look, Bay Hill, I'm sure is a fine
Oh yeah.
fine consolation prize anyway, and obviously a place that holds so many happy memories for you. So, listen, Matt, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the day, and let's have you back on the podcast again soon, buddy.
All right, Jamie. Good seeing you, bro.
Cheers, man. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after the break with Tommy Fleetwood. Welcome back to the Sky Sports Golf Podcast presented by Callaway and today presented from Callaway. Matt has made his way. He's off to play his Pro-Am at Bay Hill, but I've been joined by none other than the world number 10, Tommy Fleetwood. He's on his way to TGL. Good morning to you, Tommy. How you doing?
How are you, Jamie? All very good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having
It
me.
looks like a lovely day in Florida there. A couple of huge weeks coming
Beautiful.
up, of course. But before we get to that, the small matter, as I said, of TGL tonight, your LA team against the Bay. The top two teams already playoff spots secured. So this could be a preview of the final. Who knows?
Well, we'll see. There's a little bit of time to go before that, but yeah, I excited about the match tonight. I think have we got one more match maybe after this? So it's not necessarily like the decider of
No.
who goes top, but yeah, it'll be good to play these guys. We're both yet to play each other, and both been on good runs, both good teams. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch so far, I have to say. So good luck for tonight. Look, incredibly consistent so far this year. Indeed, stretching all the way back to last summer, really. Since the Olympics, 12 events played, yet to finish lower than 22nd. Fifth last time out in the Genesis at Torrey. You must be so happy with where the game is at the moment.
Hopefully, you're not jinxing me. Yeah, it's. I think. Yeah, I've always felt like consistency is like important. If you're gonna be sort of one of the best players in the world, which I continue to strive to be. And yeah, since I guess since the Olympics, I had a disappointing few weeks in summer really, where the Scottish Open and the Open, two events that I love, links golf, and didn't play well at all. So that was disappointing. But since then, I feel like I finished last season like really strong and really consistent, and started out again where, you know, it's easy to look at each individual tournament. You look at what's been good in your game, what you could improve, like little things that you would like to have done better at. But like over a decent time frame, I think, yeah, my consistency has been really strong, and still feel like I've got plenty more to give. And I think Torrey Pines I actually loved because I felt like there was a period in that tournament where I got into a really good flow, and I felt like I was playing great, and I was as comfortable on the golf course as I have been in a long time, like through certain stretches. So that was something to be like really happy about. You know, the result is one thing, but how you play, how you feel is another. And I came home from that event like really, really pleased just in how everything was that week. And I felt like, you know, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks of practice, feel like I practiced well, but I was looking forward to getting back out playing again and seeing if I can like replicate a lot of those feelings going forward.
Yeah, we obviously Ludwig won at Torrey. We had Paul McGinley on after that, and we were saying that when you're that straight and that long off the tee, you are consistently going to contend and rack up top tens. And I would kind of put you in the same boat. You must feel like every week, the position you put yourselves in off the tee, you're always going to be there or thereabouts.
Well, I'm trying. I'm not quite as straight and not quite as long as some of the guys, but I am trying my best. And I think it's great to have guys. You know, Ludwig, he's clearly, you know, an amazing talent and an amazing player. He's going to be around for a long time and at the very highest end of the game. And you know, there's some. I enjoy playing against a lot of the best players in the world, and I find a lot of motivation and inspiration from those guys, and trying to make sure that you know, areas of my game, you know, stay at a level or try and reach a level or keep up with those guys. So I think it's great having those guys around and getting to play with those guys. You know, you look at Ludwig drive off the tee. Obviously, like I say, I'm not quite as long or as straight, but it's good to try and keep up, and that can only be a good thing for you as a player, being around those guys.
And then obviously, Tommy, after the match today, it's off to Bay Hill for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. A moment last year where you kind of went full tin cup on the 6th hole there at the Arnold Palmer. Very Tommy Fleetwood-esque, I have to say.
Well, do you know, I was trying my best to not be shot. It was funny actually because it wasn't quite tin cup because I didn't where I was hitting it into the water from wasn't an option to go any further up. So maybe if I'd have done that, if I was tin cup, I could have dropped it further up. But I said, we always, you know, you laugh about it looking back, but I'd struggled. I didn't play great on the Thursday, and then I'd practiced a bit. Friday, I had a decent warm up, and I didn't start off very good. But we were walking down the 5th fairway, and I said, you know, I feel like my swing's coming back here. I feel pretty good about the rest of the rounds, and pulled a 9 left on that and made bogey, and then made a 10 on the next, and that was tournament over just when I thought my swing was coming back. So, yeah, one of those things, and it happens. I walked a few holes around Bay Hill yesterday, and got to the 6th. That, you know, you just sort of look at what you did do and hopefully don't do it again, and look at a strategy for the hole. But yeah, one of those things, and that was my tournament over last year.
Look, at least you're able to laugh about it now, and obviously, we hope it isn't going to happen this year. And it does. Look, the season does really start heating up around about now. I think from Bay Hill to the players, and you've usually done pretty well around Sawgrass. It's a course you enjoy.
Yeah, I like the courses in Florida. I like the style of golf. I like how tough the tests are. I feel like players is another one where you look at the players that win around there. The majority of the time, very good tee to green players. You know, they drive it well, and try and sort of can't really dominate these courses because they're tough. But you know, they try and be relentless. They're relentless tee to green, and play so solid, and that's the way to go about it. So I do enjoy the test of golf for that reason. And yeah, I've had some great rounds at the players, and had some really good tournaments, and been in good positions before. So it's such an amazing event. It's such a great atmosphere, such a great event, and looking forward to going back there. It's always one that you earmark at the start of the year, and you like I say, we've got an event before that, so focus on this one. But players is always an amazing week.
And speaking of earmarking events, the Masters just over a month away now. Is it a conscious aim, and is it even possible, I suppose, to be peaking just as you get to Augusta?
I definitely think you've seen players do that in the past. I feel like it doesn't always happen this way, and there's been plenty of examples of it not happening. But the last few years in particular, the tournaments leading up to the Masters give you a good idea of the guys who are going to be contending. I feel like that are playing well and have been doing really well in tournaments in the build up to the Masters have generally a great chance. They're confident, they're playing well. Smaller field compared to the other majors. Look, golf is a strange game, and that doesn't always follow. But I feel like the Masters is definitely at the top end of the leaderboard. The last few years has been, it's been a good one for predicting, if you like. I think you look at the way Scotty was playing last year. It's always easy to say, oh well, Scotty Scheffler will be up there, but lo and behold, he was that week. And John Rahm, when he won the Masters, had been playing great leading up to that. And I think you can go back quite a bit and see the guys that have been playing well leading up to that event. So I think they do matter, but it doesn't always hold out. I'm not gonna, if I'm playing bad, I'm not gonna say I can't do well in the Masters. So I'll get the best of both worlds, where I'll be like, if I'm playing well going into it, gives me a lot of confidence. If things haven't gone well, it's still another week and an amazing opportunity.
Well, looking beyond that, looking ahead to the year in general, one place you play well is Royal Portrush, and only one person beat you there 6 years ago. So you must be looking forward to getting back to the Open this year. I think that was a really special Open for everybody.
Yeah, the Open is a very special event. It's definitely my favorite tournament in the world, just growing up where I did.
Yeah.
In Southport, and Portrush for me was an amazing experience. And even though it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, in the end, I still look back on that week like very fondly. And if you take like a childhood dream of wanting to win the Open, I mean, that's the closest I've ever been, really. I was playing in the final group on Sunday, and I remember going to bed Saturday night and waking up Sunday morning still with those dreams like so close. So yeah, I look back at that week with a lot of great memories, and I did play a lot of great golf, and just so happened that Shane played phenomenally well that week, and it was his week and a very special time for them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going back. I think it was a really, really good Open, and once the Open had finished, players and fans were looking forward to seeing when Portrush was back on the on the rotation.
Yeah. And I think you and I have spoken about this before. Most places you go, you're a huge crowd favorite, and obviously Hoylake a couple of years ago, everybody's pulling for you there. Birkdale next year, everybody will be pulling for you there. It must have been quite a strange experience with Portrush when everybody's pulling for the guy that you're playing alongside.
Yeah, they were still pretty nice to me, but
Yeah.
there was definitely a clear favorite there, and so there should be. It meant so much to everyone, and it was such a special, like, sporting occasion for the nation, if you like. And I had no issues with that. They were still probably as nice as they possibly could be to me while showing their bias. But I loved the atmosphere. I thought they were amazing. I thought they were an amazing crowd, amazing fans, and I really enjoyed being a part of that Sunday with them. And they honestly, their support for me was amazing all week, really.
Yeah.
Bit more the first 3 days than the last day, but they were still very supportive of me, and I couldn't have asked for any more from all the fans there.
Oh, we're lovely in Northern Ireland, you know that, Tommy.
Well,
Looking beyond that
most of it.
too, an event where the fans might not be quite so welcoming in New York in September. When do you start thinking about the Ryder Cup, or are you constantly thinking about it?
Yeah, when qualification starts, it's always going to be in the back of your mind from that point on. But you try not to think about it on a daily basis or a weekly basis. You just try and play the best golf you can each individual week, and hopefully, you can accumulate enough Ryder Cup points to qualify, or you've shown enough for the captain to feel like you're worthy of going and bringing something for the team. I think, again, I remember Justin Rose said a really good thing. He said, you only ever want to be on a Ryder Cup team if you feel like you can contribute, if you feel like you're playing well and you can contribute something for the team. Like, I would never want to, of course, I always look at the Ryder Cup and I want to be there and I want to play, but I would never want to go there feeling like I was playing poorly or playing terribly and I was going to be a detriment to the team. So as much as you want to think about it, the qualification is on, you really want to focus on your game week in, week out, and then come September or August, if you like, whenever the team is either finalized or being selected, you want to be in a spot and play more, so you know that you can go and contribute to Team Europe, really. So I think I try and look at it that way, and the rest of the time, it's always there, and have it as a major goal of the year. I try and just take a bit of time.
And look, there's been so much European success already this season of the PGA Tour. Is that something all you guys take notice of that sort of spurs you on as well? Are there messages flying around on Ryder Cup WhatsApp groups?
Yeah, I would say that we're all very supportive of each other's careers, and all very happy for each other's success whenever that happens. And at the same time, I do think being part of Team Europe or being in a team in general is very motivating. You always, especially a Ryder Cup, 12 best players in Europe. When you've been part of that team, or when you're in that environment, you want to be the best version of yourself, and you want to continue to elevate your game so that you can stay there and and be one of those players. And yeah, all of us are just very supportive of each other's careers and each other's successes, and I think that's you know, just a really beautiful thing, if you like. And we have had an amazing, Europe as a continent, if you like, has had an amazing start to the year, and hopefully it can continue.
And there's no issues that quite recently you told the captain to off either.
No, he spoke to me since anyway, and we put that behind us. We put that little moment behind us.
I should probably explain for listeners that aren't aware of what I'm talking about. It was
maybe yeah, it might not come
on the
great,
DP World Tour.
I'll let you
and
explain.
It was very much tongue in cheek. Tommy Fleetwood wouldn't do that. Stay there just 1 second, Tommy, to wrap up events elsewhere. Starting with maybe the most extraordinary story of the week from the world of golf. Australian Ryan Peake won the New Zealand Open. In doing so, qualifying for the Open at Royal Portrush, which will be his first major. A contemporary of Cam Smith, he joined Australia's largest biker gang, the Rebels, at the age of 19. Was convicted of assault, sentenced to 7 years in prison. Towards the end of the 5 years of that sentence which he served, he began hitting golf balls again and practicing. Upon release, left the Rebels, dedicated himself to being a full-time pro again, and he will be at Portrush this July. As will Dylan Naidu. The South African Open at Durban Country Club reduced to 54 holes. Just awful weather all week. The green staff did an incredible job to even get 54 in. Dramatic playoff with home favourite Naidu just pipping Laurie Canter in a playoff. Proper heartwarming stuff, this. Here's what Naidu had to say after claiming his first win in his home Open.
I don't know what to say, OG. I really don't know what to say after a lot of really difficult times. A lot of times where I thought I'd do this earlier in my career. A lot of times where, wow, I don't know what to say. This is a special moment for me. It's a special moment for everybody here in Durban. It's overwhelming. Jeepers. I'm more worried about the putt. That putter went back a little squiggly, but it went in. So, yeah, sure. I can't believe it, OG.
Finally, how superb was it to have this crowd rallying you behind you?
I said yesterday, it felt like I was Tiger Woods. Like, there were people, so many people. I mean, all the energy that I had, I can't thank everyone enough for coming out yesterday, today. I'm speechless.
Special stuff. It's what it's all about, really. 7th South African Open in a row, won by a South African, and it earns Naidu a spot at the Open. And Laurie Canter, friend of the pod, has now gone win, second, third in 3 of his last 4 events. He leads the race to Dubai, now world number 42, on the brink of securing a spot at the Masters, and he will be playing in his first Players next week. And you must be super chuffed for Laurie, Tommy.
Yeah, he's doing amazing, isn't he? I think he's been a great player for a long time. We were foursomes partners, playing for England quite a few times, and it's been great to see his game and his confidence grow. Had the same coach, Alan Thompson, for a long time as well, when Tomo was back coaching, and I think his statistically, he's been playing some great golf for quite a while now, and he's showing it. I think to anybody that makes it into the top 50 in the world, like he currently has, just play unbelievable golf, and I do feel like he can continue going from strength to strength. So it's great to see for Laurie.
Well, look, you mentioned you were foursomes partners with him. I was texting Laurie last night. I said you were going to be on the pod today. Laurie replies, "He's the best, in my opinion, at pure striking. Not played with anyone like him." This foursomes partner at the 2010 Home Internationals. We went 3-0. He hit the best shot I've ever seen against Scotland. I snap hooked it onto the wrong fairway. He hit a 2-iron around some trees from 240 yards to 2 feet to win the match. Genuinely still the best shot I've ever seen live. So do you remember that shot still?
I do. I was going to say, I bet you were talking about that one. I paid him to say all that stuff. So
to this day, Laurie says that's the best shot he's ever seen. Also in South Africa, Dale Whitnell had 2 holes in 1 in the same round. Have you ever heard anything like that?
Or seen it? No. But yeah, amazing. Amazing. I looked at his card afterwards. What a scorecard it was.
It was a right hodgepodge, yeah.
It was a hodgepodge, but 2 hole-in-ones. Happy days. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, expensive barbell afterwards. The HSBC Women's World Championship in Singapore was won by the sensational Lydia Ko, a dominant 4-shot win. Congratulations to her, and a shout out to her caddy, Paul Cormack, too, a top fella. He was named caddy of the year earlier in the week as well. And Tommy, I don't know if you saw this, a T4 finish for Charlie Hull, but on Saturday I saw this on Instagram. Charlie Hull throws up, runs the fastest 5K of her life, and shoots 68. All Charlie was interested in was that she'd run the fastest 5K of her life. That is her aim for this year. You're on the Olympic team with Charlie, and she's wired differently, Charlie. She's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, she's her own person, and an unbelievable golfer as well. While she's doing it, so yeah, I actually really enjoy watching Charlie on the range in golf shots and playing. I think she's so good at the game. I love her swing, and she's running really fast as well. It's good for everyone.
Yeah. She is. Look, she's fantastic. We all love Charlie Hull. This week in the world of golf, we have, of course, the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Tommy and all the top players in the world in a stacked field there. Signature event before they all head to the Players next week. It's the Joburg Open and the DP World Tour, the final event of the international swing. Laurie Canter has already topped the standings for that international swing. The LPGA Tour is in China for the Blue Bay LPGA on Hainan Island. And Tommy, thank you so much for your time. Good luck against the Bay tonight and for the next couple of weeks. I'll see you at Augusta, but enjoy tonight.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time in the back of your car on the way to the SoFi Centre. If you've liked what you've heard or watched today, make sure you give us a follow on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your pods. While there, why don't you leave us a review and let us know what you think of the show. Thank you again to Callaway for sponsoring the podcast and for hosting us today at HQ. And I'm actually now off to have a club fitting here. So thank you again for your time. A busy show. Do join us again this time next week.